Bobby Dodd Stadium is located only about 10 minutes down Route 403 from Georgia State's Center Park Stadium. But since the launch of Georgia State's football program in 2010, the two Division I FBS squads have never faced off until today. Welcome back to the Georgia Tech Dynasty as the Yellow Jackets travel home from Dublin after a frustrating loss to Florida State to host the Sun Belt Conference's Georgia State Panthers in their home opener. It's super exciting to be inside Bobby Dodd Stadium for the first time this series, and it's also exciting to face another team from Atlanta. But maybe the coolest thing about this game is that Georgia State's starting quarterback Zach Gibson is a former Yellow Jacket. He started his career at Akron before transferring to Georgia Tech for his junior year, where he threw 1 touchdown and 2 picks for us off the bench in 2022. But when Haynes King transferred in from Texas A&M, Gibson lost the battle, coming in as the third stringer behind King and Zach Pyron. So after a redshirt junior year in 2023, he entered the portal and joined Georgia State. And the very first game he will play with the Panthers will be against his old school. Outside of that, the Panthers roster is headlined by an intriguing defense, featuring linebacker Kevin Swint, cornerback Gavin Pringle, and safety Jeremiah Johnson. As far as our defense goes, I've decided to make a few depth chart changes, all of them being in the secondary. Last week against FSU, I started 96-speed cornerback Rodney Shelley, but for this game, our number 2 corner will be redshirt sophomore Saeed Gibbs. Gibbs is a really intriguing player for me because he is by far our best cover player, with 84 man, 80 zone, 84 press, has the blanket coverage and jammer abilities too. So you would think he's the best corner on our team, right? Well, the things that are holding him back are pretty significant too. He's only got 87 speed, so he's our slowest corner. He's also our worst tackling corner at 59, and he has an abysmal 37 catch rating. I still wanted to find a way to use him though, because his shutdown coverage ability is definitely something we need. My idea for the time being is that I'm going to put Shelley in there against really athletic receiving cores, but with an opponent like Georgia State who isn't going to overpower him with speed, I think this is the perfect opportunity to get Gibbs out there. I've also made a change at safety, primarily in our base 4-2-5 package. I realized last game that our base package includes 3 safeties and 2 cornerbacks, so backup strong safety Kari G was getting quite a bit of playing time. I think he's a solid player, but we also have a surplus of cornerbacks who need playing time. Warren Burrell is actually higher rated as a safety than he is as a corner, so I'm moving him to that backup strong safety spot to play over G. And that opens up the nickelback slot for Omar Daniels, who didn't play a whole lot last game, but definitely deserves more snaps. I currently don't have any players redshirted. Those can be changed at any point during the season. Anyone who plays less than 4 games is eligible for a redshirt at the end of the year, and I've chosen not to mess with the redshirts because whenever you redshirt a guy, it completely resets your whole depth chart. But I still wanted to go over some players that I'm pretty sure I'm eventually going to redshirt, such as these 2 freshman quarterbacks, Graham Knowles and Aaron Philo. Running backs Anthony Carey and Trelane Maddox will redshirt as well, barring any injuries at the position. I'm certainly interested in how these 2 guys develop, Maddox especially because he's the only power back on our roster. Honestly, we could probably use his services right now, but I'm not sure if he's good enough right now for it to be worth wasting the year of eligibility. I highlighted Isaiah Canyon in the intro episode. His ratings do not stand out above most of our other receivers, but again, he does have that star development. So we're hopeful to get 4 good years of Canyon after he redshirts this year. Trey Horn, the 66 overall freshman, will also join him. Tight end Ronnie Phillips will also redshirt his true freshman year. And we'll have to see about Ethan McKinney, who is currently the backup left and right tackle. Neither starting tackle was very good in the season opener, so if they continue to struggle, I might put McKinney out there and see what he's got. But McKinney, 73 overall as a true sophomore, and if we're able to give him the red shirt this season, he could be a solid starter for us for 3 more years. And we have 4 more freshman tackles who will be redshirting, including Jordan Floyd, Harrison Moore, and Jamison Riggs. And we have a freshman center redshirting in Tana Alo Tupuola. On the defensive side, freshman defensive tackle Desmond Black is unlikely to see the field. But if we do need some pass rushing help, Black is the only D tackle with a speed rushing archetype on our roster. Sophomore safety Tay Seymour saw some action last game in our big nickel packages, but he is eligible for a red shirt, and with 94 speed, I'd like to have him for as long as possible. So I've decided to remove him from the depth chart in favor of Kari G and Warren Burrell. And again, we have a lot of cornerbacks with very similar ratings. Zachary Tobe is just outside of the top 5, and he will also likely be getting the red shirt. So that about does it for the red shirt talk. The crowd noise is on, and away we go in our home opener. Trey Cooley will take the opening kick from the goal line, and he makes it to the 25. So Haynes King, Jamal Haynes, and the offense will start. They're hoping to establish the run early and stay ahead of schedule. Haynes will take it on the first play, and he is untouched before he reaches the first down. 12 yards on the carry. 1st and 10 from the 37. Another handoff to Haynes, and that one only gains 4. A pistol set. Haynes outrunning defenders to the edge, and he gains 13 yards with that stretch run. Haynes already up to 30 rushing yards on the day, and now Trey Cooley will replace him in the backfield, gaining 7 up the middle. 2nd and 3. Haynes King will fake the handoff and drop back, looking for Singleton, and it's nearly picked. The Panthers dropped 8 into coverage, and no one was open on that play. We get away with it, and a 3rd down screen pass gains 1st down yardage. Haynes breaks a tackle, and he's up to the 22. King in the shotgun, and gives to Haynes. Another lane up the middle, and he gets to a 2nd and inches. Cooley in the backfield, and he receives it, running right down the sideline and to the 5-yard line. 1st and goal. It is an RPO bubble to Christian Leary, who is wrapped up by Gavin Pringle. And Tech has already run down almost half of the first quarter clock. 2nd and goal. King leaves the pocket, runs right into the end zone. Touchdown, Yellow Jackets. Having a scrambling quarterback makes your red zone offense so much more dangerous. And King already has his 2nd score of that variety. A very well executed opening drive for the Yellow Jackets outside of that near interception. Now it's time for Zach Gibson and the Georgia State offense. Running back Freddie Brock gets the ball on 2 consecutive plays and gets it down to a 3rd and inches at the 35. Brock will get it again and extend the drive. The 80 overall transfer from Maine is the bell cow for this team. Another run for Brock, and this time he's wrapped up at the line of scrimmage. LaMiles Brooks got there first. Another run for Brooks, and gets halfway there. 3rd and 5, you expect Gibson to pass. He drops back, and he's instantly pressured by Romello Height. He went in unblocked. And we force the Cade Loggins punt. Christian Leary has a lot of space to return this back. Gets across the 30 and out of bounds, and stiff arms a guy in the process. Here is Leary motioning right. He gets the ball in the jet sweep. Waiting for a block, he gets it, but he is shoved out of bounds. Whenever Leary lines up in the slot, he's always a threat on the jet sweep. King completes it to Brett Seither on the crossing route, and it's a fresh set of downs. Jamal Haynes gets another carry, and he's up to the 36 as the first quarter comes to a close. Leary gets it on a screen pass to the right side, and bringing him down is Kevin Swint, who is injured on the play, their highest rated defender. A pass out to Jamal Haynes on 3rd down moves the chains. At the 26, setting up another screen for Leary, jumped! Gavin Pringle picks it off! Haynes King chasing him down, but there is no stopping him. A pick 6 for Georgia State. It was only a matter of time before we threw our first interception of the series. Somehow we managed not to throw one against Florida State, but that mid-screen, it's a risky play. We had been calling a lot of screen passes already in this game, and Gavin Pringle was ready. And now Haynes King will have to make up for that costly mistake. We start it with another screen pass. Malik Rutherford on the reception, gaining 4. 24-yard line. King drops back and hits Christian Leary on the drag route, just getting across the line to gain. King dropping back and finding Leary again over the middle. And another first down. 5 catches and 35 yards already, picking up right where he left off. Now it's Josh Beetham with a lot of room to run. He runs a man over and gets all the way to the 36. Trying to keep the offense simple here. Drag routes and bubble screens. Easy reads. Eric Singleton left all alone on that screen pass, and it's another first. Nearing the red zone. A handoff to Haynes, taking it left to the sideline and gaining 9. 56 yards for Haynes. Another screen pass. It is Chase Lane, brought down at the 9. Haynes King, 13 of 15. Obviously, one of those incompletions was a very costly one. A run up the middle takes us to the 3-yard line. And this time it's Trey Cooley on the carry, untouched into the end zone. And we take the lead again. The offense was humming on our 2 touchdown drives. We could very well be up 21-0 if not for the pick 6, but instead we're up 14-7. Zach Gibson hands off to C.J. Beasley, and he has room to run. A first down scamper for the Coastal Carolina transfer. Now Gibson pulls it back on the read option, and he has nowhere to go. E.J. Lightsey laid the boom. 2nd and 10, pass, complete. Josias Cradle. Not a good play from Amari Harvey. He looked like he made a jump on the ball, but he didn't even try to catch it. 3rd and 3, it's Darius Bush over the middle, up past midfield into Tech territory. Gibson will drop back, throws short, and it is broken up by Kyle Eiford, intended for Bush. 3rd and 8, Gibson throws it up the seam. Josias Cradle all the way for the touchdown. What a throw from Zach Gibson. And this game is tied. This drive was far from Amari Harvey's best work, allowing 2 big catches to Cradle. The first one should have been picked, and the second one he gets beat in press coverage. Under 3 to go in the second quarter now, and Eric Singleton fights forward for a 9-yard gain. Now Haynes will run it left, has a lane, and he's brought down at the 36 by Jeremiah Johnson, taking us to the 2-minute warning. Another carry for Haynes, and he has a lot of space, extending but not quite getting to the first down markers. Already with 82 yards, and now with 90 on the 8-yard carry. First down, they go to the air. King finds Scyther wide open over the middle, running all the way to the 21. Tech in position to score before halftime, but the Panthers send pressure, and Ja'Cory Turner brings down King for the sack. 2nd and 16. King has time. He decides to scramble up the middle, but he is shoved down, only gaining 3. 3rd and very long. King in the pocket, uncorks one deep to the end zone. Brett Scyther hauls it in. And that is the first touchdown of his season, hopefully the first of many. I said I wanted him to be a bigger part of our offense than he was last season, and that right there is exactly what he can do for us. A big end zone threat who can run routes like a wide receiver. And now there's only 33 seconds left for Zach Gibson to answer before the half. He drops back, fires left, and he's intercepted! Saeed Gibbs making an immediate impact after moving into the starting lineup. I did not expect to see a pick this fast from a corner with 37 catching. But he read the curl route like a book, and he probably should have returned it for a touchdown, but my stick was pointed in the wrong way. Apparently, I didn't have defensive switch assist on, which I always have on. Now we threaten to score again before the half. Jamal Haynes brought down after a gain of 3. 17 seconds left. Time for a shot to the end zone. Brett Seither can't bring down his second touchdown. And on fourth down, Aiden Burr knocks it through for a field goal. And that will do it for the first half in Bobby Dodd. Georgia Tech leads by 10. Not quite the domination you'd like to see for the Yellow Jackets, who are clearly more talented, but a 2-score lead is a 2-score lead. We are nearly tripling the Panthers in yards and time of possession. Time for a quick halftime recruiting update. Here are all the players who have us first on their board now, and that is a lot more than when we started. Maybe the best news of the week, sending the house for Evan Haslam paid off big time. We jumped from not in the top 10 to immediately second place. Right now, Oklahoma is the only team who's offered him a scholarship, and they seem to be our biggest competition at the moment. But on top of that, Billy Russo has also moved us to first on his board. And since pursuing 5-star players has proven to be successful for me so far, I decided to add another one to my board. Here is Isaac Prochet, a defensive tackle from Texas. And he looks like an absolute game wrecker. 87 finesse moves from the inside, 77 speed, 90 strength, 85 tackle. This one might be more of an uphill battle, as he looks to already be heavily pursued by schools like Alabama and Ohio State. The goal here is just to see if we can make it inside his top 8. I have limited resources available. I don't see Prochet as someone we're likely to get, but I think 35 is fair. We'll see if that's enough to get us inside the top 8. And we have made big time progress with a lot of players. Sean Zeese, the 6'5 wide receiver, now has us first. And so does Sammy Kirkland. Georgia is our main competitor in both battles, and we are winning both of them. On top of that, David Cushenberry also has us first by a considerable margin. And we are in the top 3 for offensive lineman Antonio Genis. Unfortunately, we have some catching up to do. Georgia is in a pretty sizable lead. And the other big-time O-line recruit we're pursuing, Darrell Hadnot, has us second behind Miami. But as we move down the board, the good news just keeps coming. Ezekiel Hitchcock has us first ahead of teams like North Carolina and UCF. And we're in the lead for cornerback Damian Rowland. We are the only team right now to offer Taekwon Chubb, and he has us first. And the same goes for cornerback Paul Pinckney and center Tremont Lamb. It looks like it's probably going to be a battle with Mississippi State to land tight end Cliff Yates. And running back Darrell Cooks looks like he's being pursued by a lot of schools right now. This is going to be tough for us. I had enough hours to scout and add 2 more targets to my board, and I really like both of them. Carl Anger is an athlete from Atlanta who projects to be an O-lineman, and he has some really balanced blocking attributes to go with 79 speed and 90 strength. Is it possible that he may also possess some defensive line skill? I'm currently putting 30 hours into him. And lastly, David Shanahan, our punter, is graduating after this year, and we're going to need a replacement. And I've finally found a 3-star recruit to pursue. Tremaine Sheridor is a punter with 93 power from Franklin, Georgia. If we're able to land him, I think we'll be set at punter for the next 4 years. Second half underway in Atlanta. Georgia State starts with the ball, and it's a busted coverage. Gibson finds his tight end Amon Green open for a 23-yard gain. Hustling to the line is the Panthers, and our defense was misaligned. Calvin Johnson decides to call time. A 3rd and 6, and it is a completion to Josias Cradle. He has 58 yards. A screen pass is blown up by Kyle Eford behind the line. 2nd and 13 from the 36. It's a play-action pass and a sack by Sylvain Yanjuan. Really liking the pressure we've been creating from both edges. As it's a 3rd and 19. And the pass over the middle is swatted down by E.J. Lightsey. And the Tech offense not able to move it much on 1st and 2nd downs. Now a 3rd down, screen pass to Haynes. Gets the 1st down yardage and more. Up to the 42. King in the shotgun. Dropping back. And doesn't find anyone open, and the pressure closes in on him. The entire D-line for Georgia State got in on the action there. Malik Rutherford is tackled behind the line on the jet sweep, setting up another 3rd and long. King, shrugging off tacklers, scrambling right, trying to find a man, and he's intercepted! He had Jamal Haynes wide open downfield, but Cody Jones plucks it out of the air. That was almost a magical play, and it turns into a disastrous one. Had he just gotten a little more air on that pass, it would have been a huge gain for Haynes. But here we are. CJ Beasley gets the ball for a gain of 2. Defense needs to step up here, or else this game is going to get a lot closer than we'd like it to be. Another run stuff sets up a 3rd and 6. Gibson, complete! Josias Cradle is having himself a game. 69 yards now. 1st and 10. Wide open down the left side. Kadarius Thompson gashes us for the touchdown. And again, silly mistakes from the Yellow Jackets are keeping the door open. And now the door is wide open. A 3-point game. And now a holding call on the kickoff return will set us back to the 10-yard line. It's a run up the middle. Haynes finds space. 2nd and 2. Running a toss play to the right. It's Haynes again. He gets blockers. And he's up to the 26. 106 yards on 13 carries for Haynes. Trey Cooley also having a solid game. He gains 5. Sets up a 3rd and 5. Brett Seither makes the catch, but not able to get past the markers. And that will end a drive at the 35-yard line. Now Georgia State has a chance to take the lead. There is Cradle on the screen pass, gaining 3. Zach Gibson having himself a gain. E.J. Lightsey makes another stop in the backfield. Great pursuit from behind. 3rd and medium. Gibson forced to his right, and he has to throw it away. And the defense holds their own after allowing the big play touchdown last drive. Another chance for the offense, and that run is stopped before it even can begin. 4th quarter now underway, and the check down doesn't go for much. 3rd and 11. It's a sack. Ja'Cory Turner came bursting through the middle on the zone blitz. That was blown protection from both Keelan Rutledge and Jamal Haynes, who was supposed to block and release. So another drive stalls out for the Georgia Tech offense, but LaMiles Brooks chops down the running back there. 2nd and 6. CJ Beasley gets within 1. 3rd and short here. Gibson throws the screen, and Darius Bush is barely stopped. Clayton Powell-Lee with a great open field tackle, but the offense is still on the field. Kadarius Thompson motioning right. They hand it to Brock going left, and he gets there. A 4th down conversion extends the drive for the Panthers. They're just making timely plays right now, and we are not. Another big run for Freddie Brock. I didn't even think he was that fast, but he just blew past Omar Daniels. Red zone opportunity now, and Romello Height gets home for the sack. Another big game for him. 2nd and 19. The pass is complete over the middle. Braylon Charlton beats Omar Daniels on the play, and it sets up a 1st and goal at the 3. The handoff to Freddie Brock. Stopped at the 1 by Jacob Cruz. Now a 2nd and goal, and the defense flies to the ball again. Horace Lockett makes the stop. A 3rd and goal. Can they do it again? No, they can't. Freddie Brock powers his way into the end zone, and the Panthers take the lead. The point after, though, is blocked by Warren Burrell, keeping it to a field goal difference. That could prove to be huge. But the offense needs to step up big time here. What does Haynes King have up his sleeve this time? He scrambles for a big game. That is 14 yards. 4 minutes to go. They go to Trey Cooley. He breaks to the outside, gaining 7. We need to stay committed to the run. They can't beat us that way. They're only winning because we are beating ourselves. And Haynes King didn't like the play call, so he has to burn a timeout there. We only have one remaining, and that pass is off the mark from Malik Rutherford. He was wide open over the middle. You gotta have that one. We run the same play on third down, and we complete it this time to Eric Singleton. Trying to score and take our time in doing so. We hit Eric Singleton over the slant. That is a big gain, putting us in Panther territory. 2:06 on the clock. Pass caught by Rutherford. Defender falls down, and he is off to the races. Touchdown, Tech, and we lead again. Finally, the offense able to do something in the second half. Plays like that are what made me really excited about this offense going into the Dynasty. Our receiving core has a lot of big play ability. Great hands from Rutherford catching that in traffic and taking it to the house. And since the Panthers couldn't convert their point after, we convert ours to make it a 4-point ball game. But Zach Gibson and Georgia State have all 3 timeouts left and 2 minutes to go. Gibson will pass on first down, and he finds Kadarius Thompson streaking down the left side. That could have been a touchdown, but he steps out of bounds at the 41. Pressure is mounting if we want to avoid a massive upset. It's another catch for Thompson on the out route, pushed out at the 35. Gibson pressured and sacked by Jordan Vandenberg. A big-time play from the Johannesburg, South Africa native. And it sets up a 3rd and long. Gibson, complete to Amon Green. Tackled 3 yards short. And now a huge 4th down. Gibson wastes no time taking the snap. He's going deep. Caught! Josias Creedle. What a throw and catch. An extremely ballsy play to go deep on 4th and 3. He puts it in the perfect spot for Creedle, who won his route. He has been winning the matchup with Amari Harvey all game long. And this game's going to go down to the wire. A 3-yard run from Freddie Brock. 2nd and goal. Gibson's pass complete. Darius Bush. Touchdown, Panthers. And they lead with 1 minute and 7 seconds to go. What a turn of events, as former Tech quarterback Zach Gibson has just executed a magnificent comeback. This time the extra point good, and that caps off a 7-play, 53-second drive. And the Jackets are on the ropes. Trey Cooley will take the kickoff back to the 21-yard line. And just like last game, it all comes down to the offense. They have not been executing in the second half, but it's now or never. King back to pass. He scrambles right. Doesn't find anyone. He takes off. Brought down. Ball's on the ground. Scooped up by Georgia State. I don't believe it. If the call stands, the game is over, and Georgia State has won. That was Justin Abraham on the recovery, but I'm not so sure about this one. Haynes King ran into a crowd of Panthers, didn't have a chance to slide. Did the ball come out before or after contact with the ground? He's hit by 1 guy, 2 guys, he still has the ball. And then Ja'Cory Turner comes in, hits him in the back. We are challenging the call. And here's a good angle of it. He still got it. And then the push in the back from Turner looks like it may have caused the fumble at the last possible millisecond. The call stands. We have no more timeouts. And Zach Gibson kneels to cap off the ultimate revenge game. And the Georgia State Panthers have pulled off the upset of Georgia Tech in their first ever meeting. And we begin the season with 2 heartbreaking losses. I'm speechless. Seriously. We had all the talent, but we didn't execute. And the Panthers did. End of story. We had a lot of chances to pull away. We didn't take any of them. Haynes King had 2 picks, one of them going for a touchdown. The game was decided by less than a touchdown. And then he had, obviously, the game-sealing fumble. Zach Gibson, on the other hand, goes 17 of 22. Had the pick at the end of the first half, but executed at all other points in the game. Kadarius Thompson and Josias Cradle, who are 74 and 71 overall respectively, consistently beat our cornerbacks. And Ja'Cory Turner has a monster game, 2 sacks, and the forced fumble to seal the win. The thing about college football is, if you have high expectations to start a year, and then you have just one bad loss, and now all of a sudden, the house is burning. This wasn't just one bad loss, this was an awful loss. We imploded. Georgia Tech students are going to have to hear until the end of time from their neighbors just 10 minutes up north that they lost the first ever game to Georgia State in their own house. We didn't get it done last week against Florida State either in week 0, but we at least put up a good fight against a really good team. If we could get within 3 points of beating Florida State, we should have absolutely destroyed this team. But instead, we're 0-2, and Calvin Johnson's head coaching tenure is not off to a good start at all. Somehow, we're going to have to pick our heads up and move on and make something out of this season. But for now, let's hop into some Week 1 action from around the country. We're going to start with Florida State. They are down by 6 to a talented Boston College team, and Roydell Williams fumbles the ball at the 40-yard line. This was a similarly close call, but ultimately it stands, and just like us, Florida State suffers a heartbreaking home loss in Week 1. Junior quarterback Thomas Castellanos had a near flawless game for the Golden Eagles. That included a 94-yard touchdown to Lewis Bond, and Boston College has officially put the country on notice. Bryquise Brown was also dominant on the defensive end, getting an interception and that game-winning fumble recovery. The premier matchup of Week 1 was between number 1 Georgia and number 17 Clemson. This one was close in the fourth quarter, but Cade Klubnik throws a bad interception to Dalen Everett. And Georgia gets the 38-28 win just a few minutes south from the scene of our ugly loss. The most exciting finish of Week 1 was between number 8 Notre Dame and number 24 Texas A&M. There is tight end Shane Calhoun taking it all the way for a touchdown, tying the game. That would be the last touchdown scored for the rest of the game. Jared Zirkle would miss a field goal off the left upright, but now he has another chance with 1:20 to go, and this one is through to give Texas A&M the lead. But with time winding down, Notre Dame's Mitch Jeter would tie it back up at 16 with a 51-yarder, sending it to overtime. And the field goals were far from over. It became a duel between Zirkle and Jeter to see who would falter first. As Zirkle gets A&M on the board in overtime, the defense making a big stop, but Jeter, automatic from the right hash mark, tied at 19. And more defense. A big sack sets up a long field goal, a 55-yarder this time, and Jeter delivers. 3rd and long for the Aggie offense, down by 3. Connor Wegman's pass incomplete for Donovan Green, and it's Zirkle time. And again, he ties it up after double overtime, making this a 2-point conversion contest. A designed run for Wegman is just short, which sets the table for Jeremiah Love to run it in and win it for the Irish. This game had a combined 13 field goals attempted, and both kickers made 5 each. Neither offense was executing, but Notre Dame does just enough to win on the road. A highly anticipated Miami team also gets the road win over Florida in their opener. They went up 17-0 at halftime. Florida tried to mount a comeback, but it wasn't enough. and it was a great showing from transfer running back Damian Martinez. While Florida's transfer acquisition Graham Mertz did not look good at all, completing only 8 passes and throwing 2 interceptions, both to Diani Hill. When I saw this, I was relieved because at least we don't have to be known as the biggest upset of Week 1. Number 3 Texas had an epic collapse at the hands of Colorado State, and the Rams' star duo of Braden Fowler-Nicolosi and Torrey Horton both played out of their minds as they mounted an 18-0 fourth quarter comeback. LSU and USC played in Vegas to start the season, and it was the Tigers who came out on top thanks to a monster game from wide receiver Xavion Thomas. Thomas and USC receiver Kyron Hudson went blow for blow in this game, but it was Thomas's team that prevailed 34-27. Oklahoma narrowly avoided a massive upset to Temple as they went from down 20-0 at halftime to scoring 20 in the fourth quarter to escape with the 1-point victory. Star receiver Jaleel Farouk was integral to the comeback, scoring 2 touchdowns. And oh boy, a highly ranked Ole Miss team also averts absolute disaster, only beating FCS East by 1 point. But thankfully for them, Jordan Watkins took over with a 78-yard score, which was barely enough. Fresno State is one of the better Group of 5 teams in the country historically, and they put up a good fight against number 8 Michigan on the road. But ultimately, the cover athlete and arguably the best running back in the country, Donovan Edwards, couldn't be stopped with 105 and 2 touchdowns. The effort from Bulldogs junior quarterback Mikey Keene, though, deserves to be celebrated as he threw 386 yards and 4 touchdowns in the Big House, all of them going to receiver Raylan Sharp, who also had a ridiculous 264 yards. That's going to put a cap on Week 1, and as we advance to Week 2, we have nothing but good news on the recruiting front. We have continued to go hard for Evan Haslam, and now he has us first on his board by a wide margin. Haslam, Austin Colon, Sean Zeese, Ezekiel Hitchcock, and Isaac Prochet have all narrowed down their top 8. We are number 1 in line for 4 of those 5, and we just barely sneak into the top 8 for Isaac Prochet. There's still a lot of work to be done on him, but at least we have an outside shot. And that last guy is a 5-star that I just put on my board, but never got around to scouting, so he's not a real loss. It's been a rough 2 weeks for the Yellow Jackets, but guess what we get in return for our suffering? A road game against Syracuse. This is going to be a really tough one. Like I said, in my other Oregon Dynasty that I've been playing by myself, Syracuse made the national championship in year 1 and made the playoff again in year 2. So clearly, they got some talent. And the Carrier Dome is not an easy place to play when Syracuse has a good squad. But we'll have to wait and see how the Yellow Jackets respond to the adversity next episode when we take on the Orange. Thank you all for your patience watching me throw away a game in hair-pulling fashion. If for some reason you like what you see, please like, subscribe, comment, leave some feedback, and tell me how to be better at this game maybe? Or even recommend me to a friend if you have any hedonists in your circle. At this point, I've posted 3 straight Georgia Tech videos. I just wanted to hit the ground running with this series, and to be honest, these videos are a lot easier and shorter to record than the Bulls ones. But I think I'm ready to continue with the Bulls series. That should be the next video I post, and I think it'll be a very entertaining and important episode. So I'll see you all soon for that, and more Georgia Tech in the near future. Have a good rest of your day, everyone.